Wow.
Yep.
This is wild.
I know.
I don't know if I've ever heard such hard-hitting facts.
That's why you come to me for the good stuff. That's what I was told.
I thought we spent quite a while on Cass.
It's cookie time. It's cookie time.
Cookie time.
Cookie time. Cookie time.
Cookie
time. No regrets.
Is that what you wanted?
That's exactly how I wanted that to go.
Very good.
Listeners, welcome. Yay.
Welcome to Cookie Time,
Welcome
bitches.
To cookie time. Get excited. We have a real treat for you guys today.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. There's a way to watch this movie, and I'm going to take you through it. There's a certain thing that will make you have a great time when you enter into Cookie Time.
How many drinks does one need to have a good time watching this film, Ty?
Rach
What would
turned
you
to
say?
me at one point and said, I think you're getting drunk right now. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was getting tipsy. Not
You poured
drunk.
yourself your second drink had like a
Oh,
double
no,
shot
get
in
this.
it. I was like,
I
whoa.
made two great ginger ale whiskey mixes,
Mhm.
and Rach was like, and then I tricked her on the third. I poured a double.
Yeah, you had nothing in there.
I poured a double, and I was like, here, try this one. This is a good mix, too. And she was like, ew. I wonder, she made the grossest face. She couldn't get over it for like 60 seconds of the movie. She's like, oh, that's so strong. Oh. I was like, yeah, I haven't mixed it yet. You're like, you're getting drunk. What are you doing? I was like, I'm going to drink half of it, and then I'm going to pour the ginger ale in it. I got my third mix figured out.
And you had a great time.
I had a blast. I'll be honest. This movie needs to be. You need to consume it with ginger ale and whiskeys.
Yeah.
Because it is a good. I was laughing at things that Rach didn't laugh at all. There's a moment that was like really slapsticky where she like falls into the pool after like the serious moment.
Oh, I love that.
And I went like, I was laughing, and then I had to like kind of take it in. Like, I think if we were in the movie theater, I would have been the only one to laugh at that moment.
I mean, it wasn't like laugh out loud.
But I laughed
funny.
out loud.
You did. You literally LOL'd.
There was a joyous experience for me with those whiskeys. It's definitely the way to consume it.
I wish I would have done that for Rockadoodle. You would have had way more fun.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you
This
think?
movie and Rockadoodle aren't even in the same conversation. We can't even talk about them in the same light. As I'll be honest, folks, I thought we were headed towards Ladybugs 2.0.
Yeah.
I even said that
I
to
did too.
Rach.
I couldn't remember it.
I was like, this movie is going to be like Ladybugs. It's going to be trash. It's going to be like an older movie with adult taking on a bunch of little kids. And although it was as inappropriate as Ladybugs, it was pretty close.
It had some spots,
Yeah.
but not quite.
It was so close. It was like an inch away from it.
Oh, let's not recall the scene in Ladybugs where they're in the dressing room and there's a little girl feet and there's a little boy or there's a man's feet underneath of the thing and
Yeah.
they keep talking about like sexual innuendos.
That's
like,
true.
That's disgusting. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Well, this had a lot of inappropriate moments
Okay,
too.
it had inappropriate,
Yeah,
but it didn't
very
have
inappropriate.
disgusting moments.
You're right, but it was an inch.
There's no-
a full inch.
There was no pedophilia jokes.
No, there weren't. There were
Okay.
not pedophilia
That's a
jokes.
big difference
I'll give
to
you
me.
that.
That's
Yep.
a huge difference.
That is true. That is true.
Thank you. Thank you for
Um,
giving me that.
But I mean, this movie, I thought we were headed towards that territory. I just felt like,
Sure.
this is like older adults who's gonna take on a crop of kids, and it feels like there's gonna be a lot of inappropriate jokes and weird shit going on. I don't know if I'm gonna have a good time, and I ended up having a very swell night, and I did not regret watching the movie. I'll just throw that out there right now. I thought at the end of the night, glad I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Honestly, it was a positive rewatch for me. So, Troop Beverly Hills, 1989.
I'll be interested to know how many people know about this damn movie. I had never heard of it in my life.
I know, and honestly, I can't hardly believe that you've never heard of it.
Mm-mm.
Because I mean, it's pretty popular, but like almost like a cult following popular.
Sure.
Like people who know it really, really well,
Mhm.
and then there's probably a lot of people who don't know it at all, or people like me who saw it. I don't know, once when I was maybe in middle school or high school, and then
Okay.
just didn't remember much of it from then. But recently I've seen some pieces come out, like either on like a TikTok or Instagram, where people have like dressed up as this character, this main character. Phyllis Neffler is the character's name, played by Shelley Long. She's pretty iconic, so just to paint a picture for you, she's got big, poofy red, curly hair, and she's in this fabulous Girl Scouts dress with like a cape on it.
Yep.
So I think if people knew that as the visual, they'd think, oh yeah, I've seen that before. I know that that's a character somewhere. So that's kind of where I was at. And then just recently it's been like popping back up into pop culture, probably because millennials are so nostalgic and they love them some old movies. And so I thought,
But
let's revisit.
this isn't a millennial movie though. This is a Gen X movie.
Yeah,
This is a movie. It
technically,
came out in '89. We were
Mhm.
2 years old, and
Yeah.
we're old. We're like mid to old millennials.
You're right. You're right.
And so if it's that for us,
Mhm.
like I mean, most of the millennials weren't even born when this movie came out.
You're right. This is for the Xers
Mhm.
out there. You're welcome, guys.
Well, you can tell it's a Reaganite movie.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like don't eat the rich. The rich are great. Like we should stop being so mean to the rich.
Don't eat the rich.
Phyllis Neffler's life was a symphony of spending.
This one. Out. I'll take the rest. I started my new meaningful life today, and I bought a whole new meaningful wardrobe to go with it.
Until her husband stopped the music.
You never give me an ounce of credit for anything I do.
That's because you never do anything.
I did have questions about like the themes. I was like, what are we trying to get at here? Are we saying like, oh, we like make fun of the rich all the time, but you know, they're people too.
They're people too, the rich.
Yeah.
We should be more sympathetic
Maybe
to
you should
them
be more.
and their
Maybe you should
needs.
just enjoy them and their idiosyncrasies. And that's really the bad guys are the working class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shame on them for like trying to take seriously their.
Yep. And the
Crafts.
main villain has
Uh-huh.
like kind of a confusing gender thing where they keep calling her sir.
Oh yeah.
And so there's like a little bit of like a gender thing, and that's the evil person in the movie. This is a total Reagan movie. Even though H-Dub was in power at this point.
I am so glad that we got into the deep nitty-gritty themes first, but to
I
maybe
think it's important.
Yeah, let's go there. But let's also walk it back a pace. Ty, would you mind just kind of throwing together a synopsis of this film for our listeners if they haven't seen it or are like, I don't think I saw that movie?
Sure thing.
Help them out.
Okay, so the gal from Cheers, the main bartender,
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long, and she is getting a divorce from her husband who was on Poltergeist. He's the husband from Poltergeist. He's
Yep.
in Coach. Have you ever seen Coach?
I have seen parts of Coach. Not a lot, but I have seen
The
it before.
TV show?
Craig T. Nelson is who we're talking about.
Craig T. Nelson,
Craig Nelson.
who is great in Poltergeist and great in Coach. And I'll be honest, pretty good in this too.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
I like him
He
as
was
an
so
actor.
cute.
Yep.
Even though he's a bit older and he hasn't like had hair plugs or anything because he's
Uh-huh.
kind of like losing his hair in spots, I thought he was very handsome.
He's
in
pretty
this.
charming.
Yeah, he
Even
has
though you
this
see
like
him with
LA
his
dad.
You see him with his shirt off. He's got like super hairy chest, and he's got a little bit of a belly or
He's
whatever.
got the dad bod.
But
He's rocking
he
the
kinda
dad
just
bod.
He owns the dad bod, and you're
Mhm.
like, you know what? I understand why she's into
It's
him.
like I don't hate it.
He's pretty confident.
I don't hate it.
So they're going through a divorce,
Mhm.
but you can tell right off the bat, like it's not like this irreparable damaged relationship. You can just tell that they have floated apart, and pretty much their dynamic is, which I thought was super interesting actually, is that he makes a ton of money, she spends a ton of money, and he's like, you had so much promise and you like haven't lived up to any of your potential. I married you thinking you're going to be like this person who's going to accomplish so much in the world, and you just sit around and go shopping all day. Like that's not the person I want to be with, kind of thing.
Not a terrible critique.
No,
you
not
see
at all.
where he's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so like I walked out of that whole thing understanding the divorce dynamic completely and like really into that storyline.
Yeah.
And then they have a daughter. Her daughter is in a Girl Scout troop, but they're not Girl Scout. They're called
They're called the Wilderness Girls.
They're the Wilderness
because
Girls.
they didn't get the rights to the Girl Scouts.
Makes tons of sense.
It makes a lot of sense once you hear the profanity in this
Yep.
PG movie, mind you.
And so the Wilderness Girl troop of Beverly Hills is like terrible, and they want to get rid of this troop. One of some of the powers that be.
Yeah, it's got like 8 girls in it. They're kind of these spoiled rich girls. I'm sorry, this is your synopsis.
They don't
Please
even
keep going.
they don't even camp. They don't do anything. And so she comes and takes over this troop. And she like teaches them a bunch of new lessons. And they get really good at badges. And then they get really good at cookies. And then they get really good at the final competition. And it's all about like finding friendship. And like resisting the whole idea that the rich are really weird and all we do is make fun of them and we hate the rich. And it's like, no, the rich are people too. Yeah,
these young girls gain some self-esteem in it, some self-worth. Because I think they understand that they're kind of ostracized from the rest of society.
Yep.
And yeah, they kind of like come of age a little bit in themselves.
And you have some of these characters, like you have the one who does a lot of horse riding. You have the one whose father is like a crazy dictator who's going to kill everybody. You have one whose dad is an actor and he has like lost all of his jobs. He no longer has money. You have one whose mom writes like the crazy, sexy love stories, 50 Shades of Grey style.
Romance novels.
Yep. And then you have the one who's like really sassy, who happens to be black, which seems like a commentary on black people at the time. You have like all kinds of like these random characters that you come into contact with that are part of the troop. So you learn a little bit about each of them.
Yeah, so fun. Some taglines for this bad boy. She's hilarious. She's captivating. She's wonderful. She's a Beverly Hills babe in the woods, and the woods are wild with laughter.
Okay, I want you to try to take this again. Is this the only tag?
No, there's another one.
Oh, okay. I want you to take this tag again, and we see the guy who used to do like the Miss America pageants, who kind of talks like this. She is wonderful. She is beautiful. She is pageant. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I want you to try it again, and I want you to deliver it like him. You don't have to do the voice, but I just want you to take on his aura. Because I thought we missed some things on that last one.
I can't believe you're giving me notes on my format already. It's too early for notes.
No, go ahead. Try her again.
I'll give it a good shot.
Yep.
She's hilarious. She's captivating. She's wonderful. She's a Beverly Hills babe in the woods, and the woods are wild with laughter.
Pretty good.
Better?
I thought that, and listeners, you can attest, that was a huge step up.
That was a big
improvement. The first one was just muddy. It was just like you were marking through it.
I threw it away. Yeah.
Take the moment. And you really took it on that second take.
Well, let me try again for another one. When the tough... Start over. Oh, man.
Oh, no. This is like an audition where you're like, hey, can I start again?
Can I start again?
Which is always the worst thing to say. If you have to say, can I start? I would be like, no, just suffer through it.
I can't.
Because I'll be honest, you starting
too
again,
bad.
Now I'm annoyed. I went from being like,
no.
are you going to get back on track? And then if you get back on track, I'm like, I got back on track. Good job.
It's too short.
But now
I can't get back on track. It's like 2 words. When the going gets tough, the tough go shopping.
No, I don't like it. I like the first one.
God, you're a brat. Moving on. Oh, wait. Were you talking about the tag or were you talking about...
the actual
I thought you were
tag.
talking about my delivery.
No,
you wanted me to deliver it again.
I thought your delivery was fine.
Oh, okay. Oh,
no,
I thought that was a personal attack.
It's the right. That's okay. You just got to snip it into our relationship, where Rach thinks every little critique is always an attack on her person and her individuality, her human spirit. And a lot of times this has nothing to do with that. It's just like, no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the thing that you were talking about. It's not about your delivery.
I think the lyric from Taylor Swift's most recent album that hits best is the lyric, so you tell me everything is not about me, but what if it is?
Boom, boom, boom.
Said they didn't do it to hurt me, but what if they did? And that's how I feel 90% of the time.
Yeah, that is how you feel.
I totally get what you're saying there.
It's
Everyone's
amazing.
against me.
You do kind of live in a world where you think everybody's attacking you.
Well, they are,
No,
more or less.
I think more people are on your team than you could ever imagine.
That's probably true. So how this movie came to be, producer Ava Austin Fries was the troop leader of her daughter's Girl Scout group. And she had some silly stories. This also took place in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So it's a bit of an autobiography.
Okay.
They also got rained out on their first camping trip, and she took the girls to the Beverly Hills Hotel, and they made s'mores in the hotel room.
I'll be honest, I thought that was a pretty good pivot.
Wasn't it cute?
Why do you have to stay out in the rain and get rained on? I remember there was a time where I was camping with my family, And they were like, it started raining, and my mom was like, let's go. And we took off, and we left. And I was like, yeah, of course. What's the point of staying out there, waking up in the morning, you got mud everywhere, you're tracking mud, it's all over the place. To be like, no, let's just pack it up now and get out of here.
I suppose. I mean, if it's not waterproof, the rain on a tent sounds amazing. I just want to put that out there. But if you're going to wake up in a puddle, that's not going to be good.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Yeah, I hear that.
I don't know. I always understand the point.
I loved that in the movie, the hotel room, and maybe all of the Beverly Hills hotel rooms are like this, but they had like this wallpaper that had palm trees on it, so it looked very like wildernessy within the room, even though it's a swanky suite at the Beverly Hills.
Sure.
So anyway, she would tell these stories to her friends in Hollywood about like the mischief that this troupe would get into, and they're like, you know what, you've got to make a movie out of this. These are such funny stories. And being a badass producer, she did. She said, yeah, I will make a movie out of this, and she did.
Sweet.
Let's talk a little bit about Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. Ty, were
yes.
you were not in Boy Scouts, correct? You were in Weebelows?
I was in
Am I saying that
Cub
right?
Scouts.
Okay,
and
Cub Scout.
Weebelows.
And Weebelows. And those are two different things.
So Cub Scouts is when you're a little kid. We wear the blue uniforms.
Okay.
You see those kids running around with blue uniforms? That's them.
Okay.
The Weebelows, you move to the tan uniforms, just like the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
Only it's like the middle school / late grade school years.
Okay.
And then it was time to become a Boy Scout, and I think I maybe did a Boy Scout for a year. I did not go up to Eagle Scouts. That's like high school. Those are, I'll be honest, those are kind of the weird kids.
It takes a special person to stay in the Scouts past the age of 14.
Because that's where you're going to learn all the knots and stuff. Like, do you really want to? I'm going to be honest with you. You're in high school right now, right? You've got basketball. You've got girls. You've got wrestling. You've got Dragon Ball Z. You have so many passions. Lord of the Rings just came out. Harry Potter just came out.
Oh, and you're in high school. You specifically.
Yeah, you're in high school. It's freshman year of high school. And you're like, oh, now I'm going to go to Eagle Scouts and I'm going to go learn all the knots. Do you really want to spend your time perfecting the knots when you got so many other things on the brain?
You bring up a really good
I don't
point.
think so. Not happening. So, yeah, I was not an Eagle Scout, and I maybe did a little bit of Boy Scouts. I can't remember. But I have the uniforms, I bet.
Oh, at home you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
but let me tell you, so the thing that we got badges from that I loved the most was not Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Weebelows, whatever all that stuff was.
Yeah. What did
That
you
stuff was
get
fine.
badges from?
The thing that I loved my badges the most was called, you know it?
I know what you're going to tell. Go ahead and tell the story.
Awana. And Awana was, imagine this. You combine the best parts about like being a Cub Scout with church. And so what you do is you the people are going to be like, this sounds like a cult. I'm like, no, it's not a cult. It was awesome. It was the best.
Try convince us it's not a cult. Go
okay.
ahead.
I'm at first part of the night. Oh, I'm going to go with my best friend Jeff to Awana. We're driving in. His mom is our Awana leader. We're going to go up to the classroom, and Paula's going to turn to me and say, Ty, what verses do you have memorized from me today? And I'll be like, I have these 6 verses. And I would say them all. She'd write it in my little book. It was this really cool color book, and she'd sign off on all of them. And then when I got to certain checkpoints, I got like other badges, or sometimes there was like a big badge with like gems, kind of like the Book It Pizza Hut thing.
Okay.
Where you could add gems to the major badge.
Oh, boy.
And so then all of a sudden I'd have like this really tripped out like vest.
Dazzling
I would
vest.
wear this Awana vest.
Glitter vest.
And then, oh, is that all you're doing is just memorizing verses and getting sweet gems and badges and stuff? No, you wish, because now I got to go downstairs and I'm going to go play, I don't know, kickball, freeze tag, something in the gym for like an hour.
Oh, an hour
and
of
then
gym time.
We end with just a quick little 10-minute prayer. And I'll be honest, I loved it way more than church. I was like, if this is church, I'd go every Sunday.
Yeah, is that what would get you back to church if it was kind of like that again?
Yeah, if there was an opportunity to earn badges, I'd go back.
And to have some gym time for like an hour of free gym.
It's the only way you can use the gym, though. You can't use it unless you go to Awana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
You
totally
would join
go.
that church?
That'd be so fun. I'd do anything.
I love it. Well, I was a Girl Scout.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
So why didn't you go become a girl Eagle Scout or whatever when they're older?
Well, so a couple of things. I had started, oh gosh, maybe even in kindergarten, about as young as I can think. I was in Girl Scouts, but I was in Girl Scouts when I was at my first elementary school I went to, which was a private school, and then I changed schools in third grade. Well, after third grade.
Yeah, into fourth grade.
And so that's
you were a
when
rising fourth grader.
Yeah, when I was a rising fourth grader, I dropped out of Girl Scouts because then I was in public school. And I don't know if my area, my school didn't have a Girl Scout troop or nobody was into that, but...
Your Girl Scout stuff was attached to the school?
Well, everyone that I knew in my Girl Scouts was also like a classmate.
Oh, see.
Yeah, we were all this, and there might have been a couple of girls from other schools, but it was primarily me and my classmates.
Oh, that's interesting because in South Sioux, there's 4 elementaries, and so there was like tons of kids I didn't even know who they were. And so each troop would have a leader. My mom was a troop leader, by the way.
Was she?
My mom and Mike's mom, Sharon Davis, they both did it together. And we made, I remember one of my mom's projects, we made these little Santa Clauses out of clay. And it was so fun. Mom, you did a great job. I still love my little clay Santa. So she had like a bunch of like fun little things for us to do. And she had us make a bowl one time out of clay, but then it got colored and everything. And I didn't know what to use it for. I think I just threw like tchotchkes in there. And then later on down the road, she had lost her ashtray, and so she commandeered it for an ashtray. But part of me was like, how can I get mad? She's the one who instructed me on how to do it. So technically it's hers, kind of.
And that is what being a 90s kid is all about.
Yep.
Your mom takes your clay art and makes an ashtray out of it. Kids today, y'all are too sensitive.
Yeah.
That was just normal. That was just normal fare for the 90s.
Yeah, it's called being a kid.
Resourceful.
So did your mom she was never a Girl Scout leader or anything?
I don't know if she wasn't the leader, but she was definitely really involved in it. Like I'm trying to think of some of my favorite things. There was a day where we made a lot of crafts too, like a lot of our Christmas ornaments, the younger ones that I have on there, those are from Girl Scouts. So I've got like a popsicle reindeer, a popsicle sled.
That's what popped in my head. I was like, the popsicle reindeer's for sure from Girl Scouts.
Yeah, it's for sure.
Yep.
That's Girl Scouts. We decorated pillowcases one time. I had like a Bugs Bunny pillowcase that I did puffy paint on.
Oh, cool.
That was awesome. We also had a thing with dads where we made sloppy joes with our dads and we went bowling. So I got all my patches still.
Oh, sweet.
That was...
You have it?
Oh, yeah. I was in what's called the Brownies.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is Brownies versus Girl Scouts?
Yeah,
I don't know what the difference is.
So Girl Scouts, similar to maybe to Boy Scouts, but Girl Scouts is the overarching name. And then within that, as you age up, you go to different areas. So you start with
like
as
Boy
a
Scouts
daisy. You're a little baby, you're a little daisy. And that's probably like kindergarten and younger, maybe?
Yep.
Maybe first and younger. And then early elementary, you're in Brownies. And I was in Brownies.
You're making me wonder if I messed up all the thing. Maybe there is no Boy Scout. Maybe it's just Boy Scouts is their
Maybe
group.
that's same with the Girl Scouts. It's just the overarching thing. Yeah, because then what I had the choice to is after Brownies, if I was in it still, I get to go and be a junior. A junior would be like late elementary to middle school and maybe even high school. I don't know if there's anything past junior, but junior was like the next step, and I did not go that far. So, but I had happy memories of Girl Scouts. My unhappy memories include there was one time where I went to an overnight camp.
Yeah.
But I don't know if my friends from my own Girl Scout group weren't going or were sick or something, but I was the only person that I knew there, and that was really
Rach,
hard.
that would be very difficult for you.
That even now, that was me, and I have way better skills.
Are you stressed just talking about it?
It makes me sad because I remember how I felt. I remember feeling really anxious that I didn't know anybody, and I eventually made some friends and. We did pool days. I got to ride horses, all those things. But had I had just one person there that I knew to bounce off of, I would have had such a better time. But that was hard because there was a lot of free for all. It was you get to choose who you sit next to. You get to choose who you put your sleeping bag next to. And that's when you don't know anybody. I mean, and girls were nice. Nobody was mean or anything. But I still had to take it upon myself to hi, my name is Rachel. I'm here by myself. You want to be my friend? Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
a
hard.
big ask.
It's a big ask.
So you guys all stayed in a big lodge?
Yeah, that's how they had it. We weren't outside, although we did outdoor activities and did hikes and stuff. But this was like a
Did you
big
do a
Girl Scout
midnight
lodge. I don't remember a midnight hike. That would have been cool.
We did.
Did you?
We did a midnight hike.
Ooh.
Yep.
Like literally midnight, or just sun goes down? It's evening.
It probably started at 10, but we got back at it's like a 2-hour hike there and 2 hours back. So I think we got home at like 2 in the morning.
That's fun.
It was always on the Saturday right before we left on Sunday.
So you're extra tired
Yeah.
when mom and dad
You've
come
been there
to
for a
pick you
couple
up.
days already, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna toast these kids. Then mom and dad have a good couple days. Were you really good at a certain Girl Scout activity? Like, oh, I killed it at this.
I was usually pretty good at the arts stuff. Arts and crafts was kind of a good niche for me at that point.
Did you have to get a swimming? Like, you had to pass a test to be able to swim in a certain part of the pool?
That's a good point. I mean, probably.
Yeah, we did.
Or maybe I just had to show them like my regular swimming lessons certificate. If you get certificates for that, I don't know. I don't know how you prove that you can swim without proving you can swim.
The first day we had to do a swim test.
Okay.
And show them how many laps you could do in the pool.
Uh-huh.
And then once we did however many laps, they gave us like a certain token or something so we could show. Otherwise, you had to stay in a certain pool that only went like 3 foot deep or whatever.
That makes
and
sense.
then you couldn't actually swim.
Yeah. That's good for liability's sake with a bunch of little boys.
Did you have an activity you were awful at?
Not that I can think. I'm sure there were things that I didn't like or wasn't as good at, but I can't think of what they were. Maybe drilling screws into something.
Why'd you have to do that?
Because girls can do that. Girls
No,
can
I
make
know,
birdhouses.
But boys didn't have to ever screw.
I don't know. I
screws
feel
into
like
stuff.
I remember doing like a power tool situation or something that involved like some woodworking, and it was like a matter of like either hitting the nail or keeping the screw in, like similar today. Like it's hard. It's hard for me to like put the right amount of pressure on it and time that right. It's
You're
tricky.
getting better all the time.
I'm getting better all the time.
I was really good at archery.
Ooh.
I was the best at archery at one of the camps.
Okay.
The people just kept being like, "Oh my gosh, Ty, you got to stick around to this." But it was funny because archery is right next to the BB guns, and so you'd go and shoot guns, and they're like, "Ty, I bet you're really good at the guns too. Why don't you go give that a shot?" No, couldn't even hit the piece of paper, let alone like the little star in the middle. Just awful.
Oh man.
Just the worst. Like all my friends would make fun of me, like, "How are you not even hitting it at all?" I was like, "I don't know what's going on."
But did you see me over there with the
But
arrows?
Hey, let's go back to the archery.
That's
I'm pretty good
archery.
at that one.
Let's do that one instead. I love that. So do you have an archery badge then from that?
I'm sure I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very positive I do. We didn't sell cookies or anything though.
Oh yeah.
I think
That might be a Girl Scout thing.
You know
You didn't
what's
sell
hard?
popcorn? Boys do popcorn
Well,
usually.
we did popcorn for band, so I'm confused on like when were we selling what?
You're always hawking popcorn
Or we were
those
selling-
dollar candy bars.
We sold wreaths for a while for band.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is a hard sell.
Wreaths are?
Yeah.
Christmas wreaths?
Yeah, because it's like $30 for this wreath, and the
Yeah.
people are like, "That's gonna die at the end of the season, so I'm gonna just spend $30 on this wreath right
I
now."
mean, my mom bought her greenery from them sometimes.
It's a big ask.
It is a big ask. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But popcorn, you hawked popcorn a lot.
Yeah, yep, and they had some delicious chocolate popcorn. Best chocolate popcorn I've ever had in my life.
Ooh, maybe
yeah,
the only.
You can get it at other places like gourmet candy shops. It's not the same.
Trust me,
This
it's
is
not
the
the
best.
same. No, I hawked Girl Scout cookies, which, I mean, first off, those things sell themselves.
Yeah, you don't even have to work.
You don't, but it still made me anxious. I still hated that part of Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
That season when it was Girl Scout cookie selling season.
Did you set up shop at a popular area, or did you go hawk
No,
door to door?
I hawked door to
Me
door.
too.
And then family too. Like I would bring them for, I don't know if it was Thanksgiving or Easter, whatever time of the year it was. I would bring them to that big family event, and that was usually the easiest because, like I said, they literally sell themselves.
Yeah.
And my family, extended family, is always really good at supporting kids when we have things that we like that we have to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have tons of boxes for my family alone. Because especially at that point too, like I think I was the only of my cousins that was a Girl Scout, so like I was making bank.
Absolutely.
I was
Sounds like
rolling in it.
Yeah, you were raking it in.
I was raking it in, but I hated it. I hated the business. Favorite Girl Scout cookie? What's yours?
Samoans.
Mm-hmm. Describe the Samoans for me. Are
It's the
those
coconut one with chocolate on
Yeah,
it.
so Samoa's, Caramel Delights.
Yep.
Kind of like
Oh,
synonymous. That's
yeah,
the same
I
thing.
think the same thing.
They go through a name change depending on where you live.
And then I like the peanut butter patties or whatever is my
Mhm.
number 2.
Those are good. I love those. I think those are my 2 as well,
You-
in that order.
I thought you liked shortbreads.
I mean, I love them all. I really
Yeah,
do.
I like a good
I can
Thin
eat
Mint.
them all. I love a Thin Mint.
Give me a
I
good
love
Thin Mint every once in a
shortbread.
while. Boom.
There's these new ones that are lemony that are kind of
Oh,
good.
yeah,
They're like almost like an Oreo, but like a lemon filling.
Yep.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Come on down, it's cookie time. It's cookie time. It's cookie time. It's cookie time. Cookie time. Cookie time. Cookie time. Cookie time.
We should buy some cookies.
No, we're not going to buy cookies.
We're not gonna buy cookies.
No, we're not.
It's cookie time. Cookie time. Cookie time.
No, Rach already knows this, but you guys don't. I'm making chocolate lasagna right after this podcast, so we're not buying cookies because somebody's baking. It's not even bacon. Somebody's whipping up some chocolate lasagna. It doesn't go into the stove ever. That'd be terrible.
What? I mean, for listeners who are like, ew, what? What is that?
Okay.
Explain it a little
Yep.
bit. And then we'll get back on track to the movie. But,
Absolutely.
like, you need to clarify.
So you have an Oreo crumble bottom layer.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw on a cream cheese whipped cream layer that's kind of a mix of both of those. So it's mostly cream cheesy. And then you throw on a layer of chocolate pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put on a layer of whipped cream. And then you throw chocolate chips all over on top. And some people take chocolate syrup and they drizzle it on there.
Oh.
If you want, we can try that.
Oh, snap.
Yep. And so then when you cut into it,
Mm-hmm.
that is 5 layers.
Wow.
That's lasagna.
Lasagna. Now it's lasagna.
Now it's called chocolate lasagna.
I'm so excited for
And it
chocolate
is
lasagna.
so good. It's really good in the summer, too.
Yeah, because you don't have to bake it.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. It tastes light. It is not light. It's many calories, but it tastes light. Like Oreo fluff.
Yeah, feels like I'm
Oreo-
eating nothing at all.
Oreo fluff, you could have 4 bowls of that and be like, all right, I think that was 100 calories.
I'm not full at all.
It's like air.
It is.
It's so good, though.
Sweet, succulent air.
We're going to have Oreo fluff in August, so get ready. It's a back to
Oh,
school.
are we?
It's a back to school treat.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love that you're planning our treats out for the month. That's
Yep.
exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it coming. All right. Let's go back to the film and we can talk about cookies later, okay?
Okay.
Okay. The director of the film, Jeff Canoe.
Oh, why did they get a dude?
Ah, good question. I know. It's a gal story.
Absolutely.
The producer's a woman. I don't know.
Feels
Here's
like a
what he
slam
had
dunk.
done at this point. He had done Revenge of the Nerds
Okay.
in 84.
Have you ever seen Revenge of the Nerds?
I would say not in its entirety.
No,
I've
you
seen
haven't.
some of it, but not enough of it.
Yeah, it doesn't count for you. It's I mean, it is a wild movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep. It's a sex comedy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's specific.
It's very sexual. It's like Porky's almost.
Oh, really?
It's very sexual, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gross. Tough Guys.
Okay, I don't know that
You
one.
don't know that one? I thought that you would know that one. That's why
Yeah,
I put it
you
in
did say it very expectantly, like
there. Tough Guys, Ty,
he
your
loves
favorite.
Tough Guys.
You love Tough Guys. And another fun tidbit about Jeff Canoe is his son is in The Amazing Race in seasons 15 and 18.
Oh wow, you got on there twice, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could get on there
I
twice.
didn't know that either.
Must have been a champions round or something.
This is just a little sneak peek at the type of hard-hitting trivia I'm going to be bringing your way for this one.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot. That's why we spent so much time talking about them cookies.
Well, I've still got a Cub Scout story that I'm just keeping in my back pocket that we're ready to
Oh.
whip out whenever you want it.
Okay. Let's save that.
Save it.
Save
Hold.
it for the listeners. Hold. Listeners, keep listening. Filming wise, all of the exterior took place in Beverly Hills
Boom.
and in Malibu State Park, which is more or less there.
Mm-hmm.
Casting our lead, Miss Shelley Long.
Yeah.
Now, originally, it was going to go through Disney, and Disney wanted to have Bette Midler as that role.
Oh, she would have been really fun.
She would have been good.
Yep. But I can't see Bette Midler doing all the sexual stuff that is in this movie. So, like, it would have had to go through a massive rewrite with Disney.
Yeah,
and
I think
really
so.
toned down. It would have to be like, I was talking about Man of the House
Yeah.
with Chevy Chase. It'd have to be like that style
Yep.
with Bette Midler.
Yep. Maybe that's why they went on to Disney made that, because they felt like, we didn't get Troop Beverly Hills, but we will be getting this version of that
Sure.
masterpiece.
I can't wait till we talk about reception. I want to know how this movie did.
I know you
I know we
do.
have time to get
I
there.
know.
But I'm chomping at the bit.
So instead of going to Disney, it did go through Columbia Pictures, and they said, no, Bet, we're going to have Shelley Long. We need her. She's who we want.
Okay. So can we talk about Shelley Long for a little
That's
bit?
where we're getting into next.
Okay. Shelley Long.
Shelley Long.
She has like the wildest hair.
She does have a wild
and
hair.
which is funny because I don't remember that in Cheers at all. I didn't realize how yellow her teeth are.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
notice that too?
Well, part of it was like she was smoking all the time, which was crazy.
She
Her
does
character
smoke
just
a shit ton.
smoking a lot, especially out of those like little skinny things, those little sticks.
We'll just call them
Smoke
the
sticks.
rich people cigarette holders.
Yeah. Kind of like breakfast at Tiffany's style.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, her teeth, man.
They're yellow.
This was back in the
And
day when you didn't have to have white teeth.
If
I
she
guess.
didn't have yellow teeth, she'd be really hot. But I just couldn't get over like those yellow teeth. It's kind of gross.
I don't think her teeth are as yellow, like say when she does the Brady Bunch, which is like right after this.
Oh yeah.
She's the
in
mom
the
in
90s.
Yeah, so I think she must have gotten them whitened then, or maybe it was just like I said, maybe it was just the late '80s, and that wasn't like really a standard of beauty we were that concerned with.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very possible.
maybe. So we know Shelley Long from things
Cheers.
like Cheers. She plays Diane Chambers on Cheers, for which she had 5 Emmy nominations.
Never won?
She has 1 Emmy and 2 Globes from that.
Oh, okay.
So she did win one
Yeah.
time. She left the show after season 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a second girl
Yeah,
who
do you
becomes
know who
Danny.
it
Isn't
is?
Danny the main guy?
Ted Danza is the
Ted
main
Danza,
guy,
that's what I'm thinking of.
and I don't know what his character's name on is in Cheers.
But it's like he has 2 main love interests.
Yes,
And-
he's got her character,
And
Diane
Christy Alley?
Christy Alley. She comes
Yeah.
on and she plays the character Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then I think the end of the show, doesn't Shelley come back?
She does. Oh my
And there's
gosh,
like kind
how
of
did you
a
know?
and I don't know if Christy Alley's still on there or not, but I think there's a little bit of like, oh wow,
Oh,
who's he gonna end up
fun.
with?
That's a fun season ender.
People freaking love Cheers, by the way.
Yeah, they
so
do.
let me tell you a story about Minnesota.
Let's hear about it.
So Minnesota, I'm up visiting my dad's friends,
Mm-hmm.
the Etchisons, in Eagan, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the news, and I'm watching at the state capitol protests that were happening while Jesse Ventura is the governor.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a protest that's happening because the cable stations are thinking about taking down Cheers from its usual 10:30 time slot. And I could not believe what I was watching. I was like in middle school and like, I've seen Cheers. Cheers is a fine show. I have a good time with Cheers.
It's a fine show.
But why are people rioting
Yeah.
about Cheers? But yeah, they love Cheers. They love Jesse the Body, and they love Cheers. People from Minnesota.
A wild bunch.
A wild bunch. Now, what I'll say is when we lived up there, I don't remember Cheers being on at the 10:30 time slot. I think it must have lost the battle eventually. So, I don't know what happened.
So she left the show after season 5
Mm-hmm.
amid some controversy. So Ted Danza admitted that there was some tension between the two of them due to different modes of working. He did say that Shelley was a lot more alike her character than maybe she had wanted to admit to be. Her character being kind of like a know-it-all, someone who's very... Gosh, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Cheers, to be honest. I'm just going to put
You
that out
haven't?
there. Not a lot. Not enough that I can like really speak to who this
Okay.
character is. I get a gist of who she's.
Yep.
She's bookish. She's supposed to be a little pretentious. That's kind of the gist of
I
what
was going to say,
get.
she's pretty sassy.
She's
She had
sassy. She's
tons
very
of comebacks.
smart.
Like,
Yeah.
that's her thing, is Ted Danza will say something smarmy, and then she, like, gets him with a witty retort
Yeah.
right away and, like, puts him in his place.
Yeah, he did say that she often carried the show, though. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, while he had that kind of negative piece to say about, like, their work environment together, he did say that she was money. She says that she left not because of that, but because that she didn't want to keep doing the same episode over and over again. And this is like season 5, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're that character, and if you haven't grown a ton,
Yep.
it can get kind of boring. And then she also wanted to spend more time with her daughter.
Oh, okay.
So she did come back for the season finale. And I didn't know this. So she reprises her role of Diane also on the TV show Frasier.
What?
Did you-
Same character?
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't know this either.
No.
So Frasier, Dr. Frasier Crane from the Frasier Show,
Yeah.
is in Cheers as Frasier, as
Like,
himself.
wait. He was in Cheers before Frasier happened? Like, because Frasier's
Yes.
after Cheers.
Frasier is a spin-off of Cheers.
So he was like a recurring character in Cheers?
He plays her fiance.
What?
Yes. Okay, you didn't know that
No,
either.
I knew nothing
Oh,
about
thank
this.
God. I felt like,
And
I
I
just,
feel like-
again, I haven't watched Cheers a ton, so it's not crazy. I don't know this, but I feel better that I'm not the only one who
I
doesn't
think
know
I've
this.
seen enough of Cheers to make me pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
But this is brand new information to me,
Yeah.
which tells me you maybe haven't seen any Cheers.
Maybe you haven't seen any Cheers.
Maybe I haven't seen any of it.
Did you remember
It's like
that?
MASH. Maybe I thought I saw enough MASH, but maybe I haven't seen
I've
any
probably
MASH.
seen enough MASH. I don't need to see more MASH. But did you remember seeing Kelsey Grammer on Cheers ever?
No, I don't remember him at all.
Okay, you don't remember him. I remember seeing him at Alright, it wasn't as shocking to me to
But
see him there, but I didn't think he was his
I watched it
character
as a
there.
kid, and I probably could give a shit about whoever her fiance was, like this kind of pretentious doctory guy. I was probably like, whatever about this guy. What's that funny postman gonna say next? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's what I
yeah.
was more paying attention to.
It's bananas. It almost makes me want to rewatch it because I just can't imagine the character of Dr. Fraser Crane going to the Cheers bar. That's not his bar. That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's not who he is. He's not an
Well, he's probably only
everyman.
there because his fiance's there.
Yeah. Now I feel like I gotta rewatch it a little bit because I've watched enough Frasier to make me dangerous.
Yeah. See,
I don't know why.
And Frasier is a show that it would be on, and then I would be like, "Oh, can we watch something else?" Like I'd say to my parents. They probably were having a great time watching it, and I was like, "Oh, can we watch something else?" That show and what was the show? Was it Maury? No, not Maury. That was like a daytime talk.
Yeah, that was like
No,
Hero,
what's-
not the father.
What's the one where she like works at a newspaper? It's
Just Shoot Me?
no, not just Shoot
Murphy
Me.
Brown.
Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown.
I did not like Murphy Brown as a kid.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
so bored during Murphy Brown
Yep.
and Frasier. I was like, oh, get these out of here.
Well, to be fair, you were how old?
I want.
like
I like
6?
Seinfeld though as a 6-year-old. I
Yeah.
thought Seinfeld was really funny.
Because you probably like Kramer because he's so crazy.
He's so goofy, and there's always these crazy characters like the Soup Nazi. And then I loved Home Improvement.
Yeah,
As a
I love
kid,
Home Improvement too.
Improvement was the bomb.com.
Yeah, again, I think those were made for us though.
Yeah,
Like,
probably. All the kid
These
characters and
were
stuff.
the shows that you have described before this, Murphy Brown, Frasier, like they're older shows.
But
for
I
older
liked when
people.
Cheers was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never told my parents to turn it when Cheers was on.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just funny enough that I was down
You
for
got it.
Yep.
Just funny enough that you could catch on.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get all the jokes. There was just so many jokes
Clearly.
that were probably dirty and above my head.
Just adults talking at a bar though.
Yeah,
So it feels
I'm
like
in it.
I want to be here.
I want to be here where everybody knows my name.
Everybody knows name. Such a good song.
And
Ugh.
the whole intro is great.
So movies that Shelley Long has done prior to this, I'm
Mhm.
gonna throw out some. You let me know if you've heard of any of them. I hadn't, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Night Shift.
Yeah,
You've heard of that?
I do. I know
Oh my
Night Shift.
gosh, right off the bat. Okay, 82. 83 was called Losing It.
Don't know that one.
Irreconcilable Differences in 84.
Uh-uh.
The Money Pit in 86.
I've heard of that, but I don't know it.
Outrageous Fortune in 87.
Nope.
Troop Beverly Hills 89.
Woo!
And then The Brady Bunch was in 95.
Wow. So
Yeah.
this is her last movie until Brady Bunch?
No, I'm sure there's some more in there.
She did
These are
some
just
random
these
shit,
are just
too.
more the notable ones that I put out there. I think she does a lot of TV too, though. So
Dude, I think in Night Shift there's a famous person also in that with her.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she did one of these movies. I said either The Money Pit or Fortune has Bette Midler in it as a co-star. The
Oh,
two of them.
okay.
There's
Yeah, it's a
that.
Ron Howard movie. Night Shift is.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, she. I think she plays like a hooker with a heart of gold. I think that's her character. That trope.
Very nice.
You're familiar with
she
that.
Is, Michael Keaton's in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and Henry
Oh.
Winkler. So
oh yeah,
she's so physical with her comedy.
she's super
and
physical.
Cheers, she's not very physical. She's
Mhm.
very much like it's all like talky. Like she
Mhm.
just has great comic timing with
Yeah.
her line delivery. But here she's like flopping all over the place. She's like doing some really
a
physical stuff.
lot of slapstick stuff. So she studied drama at Northwestern University.
Ooh, Chicago.
Chi-town.
Chicago.
She did leave early to begin her acting modeling career, where she started to do local furniture commercials
Okay.
in the Chi-town area,
Mm-hmm.
and also joined Second City in Chicago.
Oh,
So
okay.
that kind of helps maybe like some of her comedic training
Yeah.
comes from those roots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thoughts on any of that?
I don't know why you'd leave Northwestern early. Like you already are accruing the debt. You might as well finish the degree. That seems pretty silly, but
A lot of people do that.
I
though.
know, people
Isn't
love-
that always a story.
you know what
they
I
tell
hate?
you?
That story I don't like, but you know the one I absolutely despise. It's like, yeah, I was in my 4th year of NYU, and my professors were like, why don't you just go out there and do it? And I was like, yeah, what am I even wasting my time here for? Another year, I've accrued $200,000 worth of debt. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and get to it. Just finish it out, bro.
Finish it. You want to know who else did that? Craig Nelson. Craig Nelson dropped out of the University of Arizona to go to Hollywood.
Okay.
Craig Nelson is our
he's our lead.
main guy in this. He
Yep.
was in Coach on ABC for 9 seasons, which he won an Emmy for.
Coach is pretty good.
I thought Coach was good too. I didn't remember, not enough to make me dangerous, but I have seen it.
Yep.
He's also the voice of Mr. Incredible.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
That's probably
That
what
is
he's,
him.
big payday recently. And then a lot of TV. He was in Parenthood. He was in the show My Name is Earl, Young Sheldon. Those are all things he's been in.
Yep.
Movies, we've got Poltergeist, Turner and Hooch.
Oh, he's in Turner and Hooch.
He's in Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
The Proposal, Family Stone. He plays a lot of characters and a
Mhm.
lot of spots. Not a lot of like leading man. Like, Coach is probably his biggest like leading man thing I can think of.
Yep.
But otherwise, just always someone's dad, always someone's
I
coach,
was gonna
someone's
say Family
boss.
Stone, one of the
He
dads.
plays all those roles very
Yep.
well. So I liked them together in this. I thought they were really fun.
They're a nice pair. Their scenes are the best.
Yeah.
They have a scene in the bedroom at the early part of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and
Where
it's
they're fighting.
and it's really good. It's
Mhm.
like the really funny, and then it gets really sincere,
Mhm.
and they're just hit all the gamut of emotions and beats. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this was tremendously well acted.
Yeah, I would agree. I was kind of like, well,
This is strong.
this is not painful to watch.
No.
This is nice. This is a lot of truth happening here.
I kept thinking when we were watching the movie, I was like, okay, strong start, but it's gonna fall off. And what I'll say about this movie is it's written in a way that like as you start to your mind starts to wander a little bit. Like let's say you've had like
Yep.
3 to 5 minutes without laughing at something.
Yeah.
They hit you with something.
Sure.
It's actually really well paced.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, it kept my attention the whole time.
Yeah. The craziest thing about that bedroom scene was not their acting, but was rather the mural that was painted on the wall and the other 80s decor. The 80s decor in this, like, it was so over the top, so gaudy. Her outfits,
Yeah.
like the fashion, it's just, it's bananas.
But then
It's
again,
bananas.
We're watching Sex in the City. We're in season 4, and
That's such a good
and
point.
Carrie wears the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. I pointed out to you, I was like, "What the hell is she wearing right now?" She was wearing this. She came in this episode. It's like season 4, episode 12 or something like that. She's wearing this plaid skirt, and then she's got this like weird white. She's got like a white like corsety top underneath, and then she's got like a white like flowy top on top. And I was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
I mean, you're not wrong.
This makes no sense.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, I showed you a lot of strong fashion choices.
Yeah, she is, but it's like not even curated in a way. It just feels like it's like let's just throw shit at the wall.
I mean, as much as I'm sure that that's what it looks like, there was a lot of people to make that choice.
But here's what I'm saying: there are too many cooks in the kitchen that then it ends up just being throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, if we pair it with this and then we do this or whatever. And what I'm saying is, you guys got your head so far up your ass that you can't see straight. It's crazy. But I like this because it was all like it was mocking that whole idea of style
it's just
and fashion.
crazy. Like, she had so much like structure to her outfits. There was one time where you said it looked like a devil claw on her, but it was like this
Looked
big
like a
glittery
pitchfork.
blackbird that was on her shoulder. Like,
Yep.
it was crazy. And you got to think too, like, in the day, those outfits cost a pretty penny. And now, like, you wouldn't think twice about that outfit on the rack at Goodwill,
Yeah,
even
sure.
though it's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe you would. Maybe if you were going down in the costume, you would. But otherwise, like, that shit's in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Not rotting because it was made of so many synthetic things.
Mhm. Yeah, that is sitting on top of the Andes Mountains in South America right now somewhere, where it got dumped.
Yeah, that is probably true. Or maybe in a vault somewhere, keeping
Yeah,
it
could be.
because it's a classic.
think so, though.
No, I don't think so either. All right, I have a lot of people in the cast. I don't
Okay.
have a lot of things to talk about. Each of them have like a little snippet, but let's
Okay.
just.
I'll
did a little bit more research on who else is in this. So first, we're going to talk about the gal who we started talking about mid-movie, the girl who plays Chica. Her name is Carla Gugino.
Mm-hmm.
Gugino. Carla Gugino. We'll
Yep.
go with that.
She's kind of like she comes out. She looks like she got out of horse riding lessons,
Yeah.
and her parents abandoned her on her birthday.
She's the tallest of the girls.
Yep. And I
She's
told Rach, I was
gorgeous.
like, she is gonna be a smoke show, and you're like, she is gonna be a smoke show. And I
I
was like,
did.
who is this gonna be?
Yeah, so she lied about her age to get into
Okay.
this. She was actually 16, but she said that she was 14. And she told the director this 3 weeks into the process, thinking that he was going to be like, oh, that's okay. We'll go. It's anyways. It's fine. It's done. What's done is done. But he was
Uh-huh.
really upset with her about it.
Oh,
he was
okay.
pissed off. So she was like, oops, probably shouldn't have told you.
Yeah, don't tell him the truth.
Don't
That's
tell
the
him.
lesson.
She had actually that very year had emancipated herself from her
shit.
parents. So she was very much a little adult. Maybe working through some real things on set. Who knows? Her parents forgetting her birthday and everything. But she goes on to do things like Son-in-Law. Ty, what is Son-in-Law? Do you remember?
Son-in-Law is a Pauly Shore movie.
Yep.
Where she's from the farm.
Yep.
She's from Iowa probably. And Pauly Shore's got to go meet her parents. And they're like, you're not going to be with my daughter unless you find out how to work on the farm. And I remember that movie being pretty bad. Like
it was.
In the Army Now, I think is another Pauly Shore movie.
No, I've never seen that
Also
one.
bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah.
And the only movie that I think is good at Pauly Shore's, besides Goofy Movie, is Biodome.
Oh,
It's on my
Biodome.
rewatch, so it might not hold up. But at the time, thought that movie was hysterical.
Yeah, me too. But other things that she goes on to do, she's the mom in Spy Kids. She's in Sin City. She's got lots of smaller bits.
She's in Sin City
She's
as
in
well?
Sin City. I can't think of who she is, but she's in it.
Okay.
She was there, and maybe the second one too. And tell us what you know her from, Ty. You saw her in a couple of things recently.
Yes. So she is, oh gosh, what's the horror director's name?
No,
My
I
horror
won't know
director
that.
fans will know who I'm talking about when I start mentioning these shows. I mean, she's in Fall of the House of Usher. That's her latest thing. But she's been in a couple of this director's things, and she is the mom who is like the main character pretty much in The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
And she is so good. I told Rach, like, you got to check her out. Number one, I tried to show Rach. This will be for all my Haunting of Hill House fans out there. Right before she was falling asleep last night, I said, you want to see the bent neck lady? And she's like, no, don't you show me. I don't want a scary image in my head. I'm trying to fall asleep. And I was looking at the bent neck lady while I was like getting ready to go to bed. And I was like, wow, that looks so good. So scary.
God. No thanks.
So,
no thank you.
I'm going to try to get Rach to watch it for Halloween.
No way. No way in hell.
You
am I
said you
watching
watch
that.
one scary thing every year.
That is not an 8-part miniseries.
It's 10
I'll
parts,
tell you.
number one. It's 10 hours, not 8 hours.
Oh my God, 10 hours?
10 hours of scary.
No.
Come on.
It's never happening.
People love it, though. Don't you
Good.
feel like you're missing out?
No, I don't. I have zero FOMO about that.
You
I have
don't have
FOMO,
any FOMO?
about a lot of things, but not for that.
A lot of people you love have all seen that movie or that show, and they're going to talk about it, and you're not going to know what they're talking
I
about.
haven't heard anyone talking about it. I hear you talk about it, but I don't care about what you talk about.
I mean, I was late to the game. It came out like 2019.
Well,
I
then
just
we're not
watched
talk-
it now. It's 5
we're
years.
not talking about it anymore. I'm not going to be late to the table.
Well, guess what?
What?
I'm going to stir the conversation up that way. Be like, hey, how's everybody? Is it a fair time to visit Haunting of Hill House by chance?
Well, if you know, you already spoiled it for me, so I will just say, like, yeah, the bent neck lady, because she ends up being...
Hey,
Dot,
careful.
dot, dot.
Careful.
I didn't. But I was this close.
That's one reveal. There's a lot of reveals. It's 10 episodes, Rach.
Speaking of Goofy Movie, Emily Coleman, who plays the poor wilderness girl,
Okay, yep.
she is, before this...
She's Roxanne.
She's Roxanne. She's the
Oh.
voice of Roxanne.
And Roxanne is the cute girl. I feel like I ended up with Roxanne.
Oh,
I feel like I was
babe.
kind of Max. I was like,
Oh.
people liked me, but I wasn't super popular. I was kind of like goofy and like great dance moves. And people were like, oh, yeah, Max is great. Ty's great. And then it's like, yeah, but he wants to hook up with Roxanne, the perfect girl next door.
Oh, babe.
That was you. I got it.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, we're
That's
we're Goofy
sweetest thing
Movie
you've
story.
said to me today, and you've said a lot of sweet things.
You got it.
So she's the voice of Roxanne, and I think that was around this time. But then she'll go on to do some Hallmark movies
Okay.
and some Christmas ones. And then also, she's in a murder mystery series. I didn't write down the name of her character. It's a kind of a recurring character that she does, but that's what she's doing.
Okay.
So big claim to fame, though. Voice of Roxanne. That's huge. Huge for us millennials.
You could lay your head on the pillow at the end of your career and say, like,
Yeah.
I did good work.
You don't have to do anything else.
Yep.
This was Tori Spelling's first film. Ty, tell me, break it down for the listeners what you said at the end of the film.
I said Tori Spelling is like the third person we see on the cast list that popped up in the credits. And I was like, who even was she? I was like, I knew I had actually stumbled upon that she was going to be in this movie when I was trying to find out who another person was. And then I didn't even know who she was.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Tori Spelling is in this, actually plays a rival Wilderness Girls group member. So she's in a couple of scenes, super bit part.
Maybe has I would say under 5. She has under 5 lines.
Under 5. I don't even know if she has a name. She might have a name. She might not. But yeah. So 1 year after this, she was cast in Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay.
And I had broken it down for Ty that her dad was a bigwig in Hollywood at the time. And so maybe it might have been an order of appearance. Maybe
No.
she's in something
No
right off
way.
the beginning. But for the most part, she did not need to be that high up on the
She got
call.
the top of the ticket because she's the producer's daughter.
Yeah.
She
Well, I
should
don't
have
think
been.
he was this producer, but maybe he produced
She
it.
should have been way farther down on that list. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's her first movie. So she goes on after this to do some other things.
Do people think she's good?
I
mean,
don't know. I don't know what people think about Tori Spelling.
I've seen. Yeah, I'd have to ask some 90210 experts.
Yeah, I
I've
don't
seen
know
her in
enough.
a couple things. I've seen like scenes from 90210,
Mhm.
and I think she looks terrible.
Yeah. It's hard
But I don't
because
know. Maybe she's good.
This is so mean. Everybody in 90210 is wildly attractive,
Uh huh.
and she has a very average look about her.
Sure.
That's really mean, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like in every person.
Uh huh.
And so I don't know what her acting is like because I've never really watched it, but it's just hard because that is one attractive cast. So you would have to be pretty darn good, I feel like, to to be opposite Luke
You
Perry
could,
at times.
or you have to just have a really rich dad who pulled
Yeah.
the strings to get you in that show.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Powerful father.
Possible, it's possible. Some more people that we have to talk about. The daughter who is in this, her name is Jenny Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
She goes on to be the lead singer of a band called Rilo Kiley. I think I'm saying that right.
Okay.
I played a song earlier today that was kind of
Oh.
popular in the early 2000s.
And you were like, have you
for
heard
a
this
Fox.
song?
I
did
had
know
not,
it.
but she also for a little bit was a member of Postal Service.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah,
Postal Service, if you don't know,
have
is
heard that.
Death Cab for Cutie
Mhm.
lead singer, and it's his offshoot band, and they're a little more like kind of like electronic
Mhm.
than emo,
Yeah,
but they're good. Check
they
them out.
are good. I saw them. They opened for Coldplay.
Oh, shut
cool
up,
is
Rach.
that?
Rach, you're a dumbass. Everybody hates you.
See,
shut
it
up.
is about me.
Yeah, it is.
What if it is?
But it's because you're a cocky cock.
I'm a cocky cock.
Yeah, you're always like, oh yeah, I remember when I saw them.
Uh,
Oh,
Not so humble brag.
oh,
I saw them one time.
did you like going to Germany? Because I've already been there a couple times. It's okay.
I would never say that about Germany. Germany's beautiful.
Yeah, right.
I'll have you know.
It's just everything is just like you've done it all, you've seen it all. Everything's blah to you. It's boring.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Amy Foster, who plays I'll just call her our blonde wilderness girl.
Okay,
The
yep.
little actress.
Yep.
She
She's
was
been in other things.
in Punky Brewster. That was kind of her other big claim to fame around this time.
I don't remember Punky Brewster. She's
Yeah.
actually the one that I looked up, and I knew her from something else that she was like a bit part in.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, yep, I did see that Punky Brewster thing. I was like, I
think
don't know
that
what
was
that
kind
is.
of her bigger claim to fame there. That and this. Then we've got, let's see, her mom, who is the romantic author, the
Oh,
sexy
yep.
author.
Yep.
Her name is Stephanie Beecham, and her big claim to fame is Dynasty. You know, you familiar with Dynasty?
I am. Yep. I've never seen it, but I
me
know of it.
neither. I have not watched any of it to make me dangerous,
Mhm.
but I know enough that it should be dangerous if you watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't 100% understand, but I like it.
I know enough to know that had I watched it, I would be dangerous.
That you
at it.
oh, you're saying people who have watched it are dangerous?
Yeah, because it's Dynasty.
Oh, cool.
It's crazy.
I bet.
So I'm told. Kind of like Dallas, also crazy.
Yeah, is Dallas
Crazy.
crazy?
Dallas is supposed to be pretty crazy
What the hell
too.
is Dallas even about?
I don't know, soap opera that takes place in Dallas. I think there's some oil
Oh, that's
money
what it is? Okay.
involved, some family drama. You know, attractive people in the South.
Yeah. Okay.
With some money.
I can't imagine attractive people in the South, but
Whoa. Whoa.
suck at people in the South.
Jeez Louise. A couple other people we have to chat about. Mary Cross, who was the assistant to the bad guy at
Yep.
first. She's kind of like that little bit part. She's supposed to be spying on
Mm-hmm.
the troop to get them in trouble, but then she has a change of heart because Shelley Long is just so sweet to her. She's so sweet to everybody. Shelley Long in this is what we would call a crown fixer, a crown straightener.
What's that mean?
It's somebody, another woman, who like goes to other girls and like fixes their crown, if that makes sense. Like that,
Okay.
like helps them look good. Like it's always like more of like a gal's gal, like really trying to like
okay.
be a team player for other women.
Yep.
A crown straightener.
A
I think that's what
crown straightener.
crown straightener, I think is what it said.
Yep.
What it's called.
Propping up the queens around you.
Yeah, yeah. So she was on SNL for a long
okay.
time. And then because we were like, gosh, she looks so familiar. Well, she's like little things and a ton of things, right?
Yeah.
She's been in The Santa Claus. She was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, if you ever watched that.
The TV show or
The TV show.
Yep. Okay.
Practical Magic. She was in A Mighty Wind.
Oh,
She has a lot of
gotcha. Okay.
voiceover work. She was in Animaniacs, if you remember that show.
Never heard of it. Any good?
I don't think I would watch it again. I think no. I'd
It was
skip it.
it was wild.
It was wild. WB was trying some things.
Yeah, that was a wild time. I feel like everybody was trying things. That's like Real Monsters. Like there's a lot of weird shit going on
There's
around
a
that
lot
time.
of weird things.
Yep.
So the wilderness gal who is poor and has the working dad who's out of work. Did he look familiar to you?
I mean, kind of, but not 100%.
So his name is Ed Burns, and he was in Grease.
Who is he playing? Grease.
Who is he playing Grease?
Um.
Maybe a role that, well, it's not quite because that role doesn't exist in the play as it does in the film.
Oh, he's a teen angel.
Yeah, he plays
Yep.
Vince Fontaine.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Vince Fontaine.
Wait, what?
I said teen angel.
Is that not the same person?
No. Vince Fontaine is the guy at the dance.
Yeah, he plays that one. He doesn't play the Teen Angel. That's two different people.
Yep.
I forgot. They
the
do
teen
have
angel's
two.
a famous singer guy.
Yes.
Yep, I can't remember.
Yes,
who that
yes. No,
is.
he's not that. Sorry, I should know that. Those are two different people. He plays.
He's the main brain, Vince Fontaine.
Vince
He's like
Fontaine,
a radio host.
The radio
guy. Yep.
host at the dance.
Yep.
That's what I recognized him from. But he had like a bunch of films in the 60s and maybe earlier than that. So your dad knows who he is, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Not a cool old westerny thingies.
Oh, sure.
Real guy's guy.
He's a guy's
He
guy.
lives like a guy's guy.
Well, he's a unpaid, unworking actor now.
Yeah.
So
And then speaking of guys, we got our bad guy, or our sexually confused Betty Thompson, who plays the villain in this. Velda, maybe is
Sure.
the name.
Yep.
Velma, Velda, something like that. So she goes on to be more of a director.
oh, okay.
She directs the Brady Bunch movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Have you seen the Brady Bunch
Brady Bunch movie is awesome.
Isn't it a good time?
Yeah, it's really
we also
good.
love Shelley Long in that
Second
too.
Brady Bunch movie, you can leave it, but
No,
the first one
first
is
one
really good.
Is so good.
Yep.
That is worth a rewatch. I know that one really well, maybe too well.
Mm.
I was at my grandma's house again. She also goes on to direct John Tucker Must Die.
Okay.
And
I never saw that movie.
Yeah, I did, and it's skippable, but we can watch it if you really want to.
Nope, I'm good.
And then also Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So big moves there, big money moves.
Yep. She's making that money.
Anyone else in the cast that you want to talk about? Those are all the people who had like notable stories, but even just like from an acting standpoint, anybody else that you're interested in chatting about?
I don't think anybody really stands out. I think the daughter does a good job. She's pretty standard stuff, but she's good. And I don't know. I think the kids all did a good job. This is also on the writing. They do a good job of differentiating all the kids.
Yeah.
Because these could have easily become like a wash.
A lot of the girls kind of look alike too in some ways.
They do.
So that's
but they
helpful.
have, and whether they distinguish them by their personal characteristics or by their parents, it was pretty helpful. I actually had them all straight pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
oh shit, there's 8 of them. Like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get all 8 of them down, but I actually did. I
Yeah.
got all 8 of them down. So yeah, I don't know. I think for the acting and the writing, kudos on the troop.
Kudos to the gals there.
We all come here for the same reason that we go to karate, ballet, fencing, writing, and the shrink.
To give our neurotic, stressed out parents time to relate in a child-free environment.
You're not going to be a troop leader, Mrs. Neffler. You're going to be a babysitter.
Au contraire, ma petite.
So this was the first movie in 30 years to be filmed in Beverly Hills City Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Now we're getting into the really hard-hitting. This is the hard-hitting portion.
I
got
can tell-
4 bits of trivia for
I
you.
can tell the research got intense.
Yeah, these were, when you look online and it's been like, oh, it's been 30 years.
Here's 30 great pieces of trivia for 30 years of Goonies or whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
But cut that in half and make it less than 10 bits of trivia.
Oh,
It's been
okay.
30 years, and here are 10 facts that you should know. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, the songwriter of Cookie Time makes an appearance as a sales associate.
Wow.
Yep.
This is wild.
I know.
I don't know if I've ever heard such hard-hitting facts.
That's why you come to me. for the good stuff. That's what I was told.
I thought we spent quite a while on Cass.
We spent quite a while talking about Girl Scouts who, fact number 3, did not endorse this film.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they endorse this film,
Because
Ty?
there's a Penthouse magazine. Because there's a
yeah.
moment where she's going to get CPR and she goes, oh, the last time I did this, I got a lot more than a badge. And with the like hot paramedic
Classic.
guy. Or maybe it's when there's all the shit bombs that drop
At least
in this.
4 times they said shit. They said
Yep.
slut. They said G-damn.
Yep.
They said bitch.
They hit it
had
all.
a lot for a PG. I was a little taken aback.
It got a little wild, but I liked it.
It's a 90. Actually, it's an 80s because it's 89. It's an 80s PG,
Yep.
which is like gold.
Oh, yeah. You
Such
can probably
fun.
show a boob in 80s PG.
Probably. You get away with one boob.
Yep.
A flash. And then my last bit of trivia for you before we just talk about scenes. The title sequence. Remember at the very beginning, it's
so
this cute little
cool.
cartoon, right?
It's like you're watching Cartoon Network at the turn of the century.
Yeah.
Like back in the early 2000s, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls. Think of that like animation style, and you're watching it for like a good 5 minutes, and it's so entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're super close. It's actually the people who made Ren and Stimpy. The creators of that was the same art style who drew the beginning panels.
Which is funny because Ren and Stimpy, I don't really like.
Oh, I hate Ren and Stimpy. It's so gross.
It's gross.
It's super gross.
It's like
My
boogers
mom
and earwax
hated
and
that
like
one.
him jumping into the shirt of like a chick with big boobs and like I don't know, like pulling weird goo out of their armpits and yeah, it's all just so gross.
It's super gross. Yeah. Would your mom also say the same thing that my mom would if it was ever on?
I never-
Accidentally. I didn't mean for it to be on.
I never really watched it. I'll be honest. I would see it was on Nickelodeon because I think that was a Nickelodeon show.
Yep. Definitely
And then I would go
Nickelodeon.
back to Disney Channel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would just go off of
Like,
it
oh, I'm
and
not
wait
watching
for
this.
like in a half hour.
Mhm.
Hey Arnold's on or what's it name? Oh gosh, Doug. I'll watch Doug in a half hour.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Oh, ick. That's what my mom would say. And she's not wrong. It is an oh, ick. Even
Yeah.
as an adult, I would say, oh, ick.
It is.
Ty, let's talk about some scenes that you like. I have a couple, but let's hear some of yours.
Okay. I'm just going through my notes. Okay. Oh, I like this. I have some punchlines.
Okay.
So she has a line where she goes, "Well, I'm sure it's good to learn to live in the woods and eat bark." I thought that was funny.
Cute.
I liked. I already said the last time I did this, I got more than a badge. There's a moment with this like they're the sidekick character, the assistant counselor.
Assistant to the bad guy.
Yep, where Shelley Long like takes her to go get a wax or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like this mad scientist woman who is like putting the wax on. She's like, "How about I just do this when I get home?" And she's like, "No," she says, "You came for the works." And then she pulls the thing off, and then the laugh she gives is like, "Ha ha ha ha." She sounds so evil. I thought it was the most brilliant choice ever.
It was great.
I died.
We were rolling.
I was laughing so hard the whole
and it wasn't the
sequence.
whiskeys laughing. It was you,
I'll be
think.
honest. I think I was only 3 whiskeys in. I hadn't even had my 4th yet.
4 whiskeys?
Well, with the double. I was maybe working on. I had 2 whiskeys down. I was working on 3. I was working on the double.
Gotcha.
So I love that. The penthouse moment was a wowza moment. Where they give a penthouse to an old guy. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
they're working at a senior citizen home and they're entertaining them.
I didn't need all the cameos. I didn't need Cheech and Pee Wee. But
Didn't you?
No, I don't think so.
We're in Beverly Hills. Where else were we going to get it?
Yeah, I know, but I just didn't need it.
Okay.
But I'm not a Cheech and Pee Wee guy though either. I don't really care that much about either one of
Could
them.
have fooled me. I thought you were down for those 2.
Who'd you think I would be a bigger fan of, Cheech or Pee Wee?
Pee Wee.
Nope, it's Cheech.
You just saying that.
You were wrong. They're pretty close though.
When I saw the part where she falls into the pool,
Uh-huh.
that came back to me. I thought, oh, I've seen this actually more than once.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that part. Maybe I've seen the second half of it then, where she falls in and then she's like drowning and then she stands up and she's like, oh, never mind. And that dress is something. She looks
Yeah.
like 80s Barbie.
Yeah.
a cocaine party. I don't know. It's crazy.
That's a lot of what this is. It feels like there's hidden cocaine all over the set.
There's so for sure.
Yeah, that's I got a sense of
It's
that.
the 80s in Beverly Hills.
Like even the kids, I feel like sometimes had cocaine.
I'm sure. That was not in the top 10 trivia, but we could add that in,
Yeah,
I think.
mountains of cocaine
Mountains
were
of
discovered
cocaine.
all over the set. So there were two things that I did not like.
Okay.
Number one, I did not like the villain.
Yeah,
I thought
didn't
that
like her either.
It's like her fault, but it's also not her fault. I thought like, what's the conflict of the movie? They just went too heavy-handed with the evil character that I just was like, every time she was on screen, I was like, who cares?
I thought she wasn't good.
Yeah.
I thought she was a poor villain. I didn't like her acting. And like you said, like written-wise, like there's just there's a better way to do that
It
character.
wasn't interesting, yeah.
It was really too predictable
Yep.
and not in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. She was maybe the weakest spot for me in the whole show.
Yep. And then I didn't like when they're going to cross. So they're in the big competition at the very end. They do like an obstacle course. They not really even an obstacle course. They're just going. They're trouncing through the woods trying to find these flags for these checkpoints to then like
it's the jamboree.
get through this map. And there's a bridge that gets cut. They're supposed to go over by the bad chick. And there's a log that's fallen over. The log sequence took like 10 minutes. And it was the end of the movie. And I was like, this log sequence is just logging down the movie right now.
He said with a glint in his eye.
But I thought that besides that, the pacing was pretty good.
I'd agree. It slowed down a little too much at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that.
I thought we could have just, I'll be honest, I don't even think I needed that whole ending. I could have just had you give her the check, mean lady's mad, but takes the check and is like, oh, fine. I guess you guys get to go to the jamboree, and the jamboree's like a party, and they're partying at the end.
Oh, you didn't want them to be able to win at the end and take care of the bad guy?
I didn't need to see any of the last sequence, I don't think. Or if I did, I wanted it fast.
Faster. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Make it like a crazy obstacle course that they get through.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. Done.
All of their training has led to this. I enjoyed that the writing, the character of gosh, what's her butt name? Like Shelley Long.
Yeah.
I love that she speaks French all the time.
Yeah, I
she
think
like
that's really funny.
Sprinkles it in, like throughout everything. Super fun choice there. I loved when they were in the hotel room and they were sharing horror stories. She tells a story about how she got a perm.
Yep. And the girls are all really into it.
And his hands are like ice. He said, I'll streak your hair and I'll give you a body wave. He worked very fast. And then, as he turned my chair around to face the mirror, I saw it. He permed me!
It was so. She is very commanding, presence-wise. Whenever she was like telling jokes or like telling stories, I was like, I'm quite fascinated at your delivery because it's always unexpected, and she was just captivating in times.
Rach, what is the theme of this movie?
What is the theme of this movie?
Yeah, what am I supposed to take away though?
I mean, it's the girls in it gain self-confidence, and so I think it's like. You don't have to conform to one thing to have confidence. There are lots of things that you can be good at that are unique. Like one of the girls was really good at looking at diamond clarity in carats.
Yeah,
like she was
true.
a gem thing, and another girl was like, I don't know, maybe that's the only example I have. But there was just other things that like to be a girl, to be a girl who has something to be proud of. It doesn't have to be all like the wilderness stuff. There are other things that you can be good at and be proud of that.
Sure. Yep. Okay.
I think the girls, because they were kind of like spoiled brats, and they weren't all spoiled brats, but that was the perception, right? And so like they had a chance to, in some ways, like prove themselves that they're more than their parents' money.
Okay.
They didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't get there.
They didn't quite get there, but... I mean,
because like you said, one of them realized they're really good at discerning the quality of diamond carats. Like that's okay. That's like
pretty cool, though.
That's a 1%er like tactic or technique or whatever quality that they have. So, so they didn't quite get there, but I mean, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it
yeah.
did feel like I said, I think this was a movie for a time. I think this is
little
a time when
fluffy.
Americans were like, the rich are rich because they're the best. You know what I mean?
We should all
It wasn't
want
like,
to be them.
yeah, generational wealth is a privilege, sure, but it's also because everybody just is really talented and works hard. It's like,
We
is
should
that
feel
why?
bad
I
for
don't know.
these rich people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy being rich. Can we just acknowledge that? It can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
It felt like we were giving them a little bit of passes.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that with your lens today, looking at this 80s film.
Well, hey, Biden stepped down today, so everybody knows what day we're filming this on.
Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
a very political day.
It's a big day.
And so I'd be remiss, even after 4 whiskeys last night. I mean, whiskey makes me very thoughtful, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Makes me
agree.
very, but some people get mad when they drink whiskey. I don't know what their problems are. I get very warm and cheery, and I'm like Santa Claus.
Like Santa.
And
Yeah,
then
that's what
I
was
also
gonna
get
say.
very thoughtful. I'm like an introspective Santa Claus. Very
That's what I've
thoughtful,
always said.
very cheery, and very warm. So if you want to party, you don't want to
You're not
break
the
out
guy.
the whiskey.
You're
You're
not the
like,
guy for whiskey.
Hey, should we do the whiskey tonight? Like, if you want to chill out by the fire and talk
With
about what you
Santa.
want for Christmas.
Oh my gosh. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was super funny was when they were watching the muffler commercial. So
Yeah.
his job, his last name is Neffler, and he's the muffler man.
Mhm.
And his commercial is so funny.
He owns it.
He's so funny. He's like, I'm the Neffler commercial guy. Oh, all right. Whoops, I already said that.
Yeah. He like
It's
repeats
so-
himself in it. He's pretty endearing.
It's so cute.
And he's got this goofy ass outfit on. But then did you notice in his daughter's room? She had a picture of him dressed up like the
Yeah.
Neffler man. Like he looks like the Tin Man kind of.
Yeah.
And she had a picture of him on her wall. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet too.
Yeah, I think we both. That was something that I don't know that I ever caught before. It was so quiet and kind of like off, kind of in the distance. But man, it was so funny when we both heard it.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to rewind it.
It was really funny.
All right, ready to talk budget?
Let's talk budget.
Estimated 18 mil to make this bad boy.
Okay.
Opening weekend in the U.S., March 26, 1989. It pulls in a whopping $2 million.
Oh, nice.
Uh-oh.
We're in trouble.
We're in trouble. Gross for the U.S., $8 million.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh,
Flop City
we're in
Bobs.
big trouble. So it didn't do super hot at the box office,
Mm-hmm.
but later, and who knows when later is later 5 years, later is 10 years, I don't know. At some point, it gains a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't have the money because sometimes they don't really say like a cult following. They never tell
VHS
you what it
sales,
is.
Yeah, are tricky.
But it went big, and now it's more than made up its money. But it was a flop. It was a commercial flop.
But how big are you talking? I had never even heard of it.
Well,
So how big did it get?
pretty
You know
big, big enough that
Okay.
it covered the 18 mil.
Beverly Hills, I'm going to tell you, when you say, think about Beverly Hills in media,
Mhm.
I would say Beverly Hills 90210. No. I said that weird. Beverly Hills 90210. Oh.
Juan, oh,
And Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
I think of Beverly Hills Chihuahua before I think of this movie.
Is that a movie?
Yeah. You never heard of that movie?
No.
Huge cult following.
We are not watching that.
That movie did not make its money back in the theater, but once it got a cult following on DVD, it did more than enough.
I doubt that very much.
It did enough to make a second one. So
Well,
riddle me that.
There you have it.
So Beverly Hills Chihuahua, I
Mhm.
think of Beverly Hills Cop.
I was gonna say cop before Chihuahua.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua did come to my mind first, but when I think about it retrospectively, I should have thought Cop. But I've never even heard of this movie. So how big was the cult following?
So big. It was the biggest. Hey, speaking of Beverly Hills, we went there recently.
Yeah,
For the
we
first
did.
time. I don't remember if we told our listeners about our LA
We
trip.
talked about France. We talked about going to shoot a short film in Louisiana.
Yeah.
We never talked about the first part of that.
Well, we don't have to talk a lot about it, but we did do an LA trip this spring, guys, and it was super fun.
All
Saw
right.
Beverly Hills.
So tell me the thing you loved and the thing you hated the most about it.
Okay, let me tell you what I hated about it.
Oh, yeah, go to hate first.
I did not. I thought I was going to love this. We did one of those celebrity home tours.
Yep.
I thought I was going to love it. And other than just like getting like a good sense of like geography of that area, I
Yep.
did not like it. It felt weird. Our person wasn't very good.
He was terrible.
I felt like
He's
he
the worst
he made it feel as
host I've
icky
ever
as
had.
it was. I needed someone to help me like pretend what I was doing wasn't icky, and he wasn't that person.
Yep.
We leaned right into it.
And-
It was all about like, oh, I got a picture with this person from their
They were
window
taking out their
here.
trash. Yep. Oh, I saw
Yeah.
Ariana Grande through her back window here. I'm like, gross.
Yeah,
Why are you taking
it was-
pictures out of somebody's back window?
It was weird. So I didn't love that.
Yeah.
At all. And that was really my only Beverly Hills experience. But we drove past a lot of these places. So
Mhm. Yep, we saw
I
a lot of
mean-
people's front gates.
Yep. But I mean, like the shops and stuff, we drove down that area, and I wouldn't have wanted to go there just randomly.
true.
So it was
Yep.
kind of nice just to be in an open air thing, just drive it and then be out of there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
It was pretty atrocious.
it was.
What was your favorite thing?
I love the beach day that we did. I also, your brother got us hookups to go to the club that he works at.
Here, let's just let's promo it right now. Everybody who goes down to LA, you got to go check out the Academy. The Academy in LA is such a hopping club. We saw our favorite new DJ, Nightmare, there. He was off the chisel. It was amazeballs.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
Great time.
We had like bottle service at a table, which you guys, before you die, just do it once. It was
Just do
so
it once.
fun.
It's worth it.
It was so. I don't know if it's worth it, but it was fun. It was super.
Yeah, you're
fun.
right. I don't know if it is worth it, but I had a great time.
Yeah, we got it. We got a steep discount,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I
If
would
you
do it
can get
otherwise.
a steep discount, you should totally do
Yeah,
it.
for sure. No, we had a blast, and a big part of that was the people that we traveled with. We
Yeah.
had so much fun.
But I danced so hard to EDM music, which I'm not crazy about.
Yeah,
And
we
I
were
was
going
a
hard.
wild man.
Yeah.
I was like running around like a freaking insane person, and
Yeah.
I was not even that drunk. I was like on the drunk scale, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, you looked like a 1980s coked out person. Like, that's what
did.
it looked like.
I did. I look like people backstage on this set. I was having the time of my life.
What about you? What were your favorite and not so favorite parts of the LA trip?
I mean, Nightmare at the EDM concert is number one.
That's number one.
I had just the greatest time, and the WB tour would be a close second.
Oh, yeah. We did the behind the scenes tour. Oh, it was so
Yep,
fun.
WB was so awesome.
That was a really good behind the scenes
Go
tour.
to WB.
We did a couple
If
of
you're going to
them.
do one of the studio tours, do WB. It's
Mhm.
definitely worth it. Paramount, I would say, is not worth it.
Mhm.
And we didn't do Universal. So I would say the thing I don't like about LA is LA.
Mm.
I don't like LA.
Yeah. There it is.
It was not fun.
The trip was fun.
The trip was fun.
The trip was
because
fun.
the people, we were out there for a wedding,
We got to see
beautiful
your
wedding.
brother.
We got to see. We could stay with my brother. It was just
Mhm.
great. But
Yeah.
what I'll say is, LA is gross. And that's why I talk shit about it all the time. I've done it since the beginning of the podcast.
You have. You've never said
Every
a kind
time
word
somebody's
about
like,
it.
"And where was this filmed at?" LA, I go, "Gross." And now you kind of understand it.
After watching this film?
No. Don't you feel like after visiting LA though, you kind of understand why
I
it's
get
kind of
it.
gross?
I get it. I get the veneer of it all. Like there are parts of it that feel very movie, very fun, and then there's the other side of it that feels like, oh, this town's got its priorities kind of weird.
Yeah, everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, are you an actor? Are you a producer? Are you doing any projects right now?" Like they're always trying to like. It sounds like networking, but they're trying to get a leg up. It's like
it's constant.
it's
Yeah,
like
we
a-
couldn't go to a bar without somebody asking like those questions and specifically
Yep.
looking for like what version of
How can
the
you
biz
help me?
are you in?
Yeah, and how can you help me get a leg up?
I did feel that way.
And so here's what I'll say. It reminds me of. Let me go historian for a second.
Okay.
So in Rome, they
Should've
talked about in
known.
Rome, there's a finite amount of prestige and power you can have.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way for you to get power is to take somebody else's power away.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have, like, Julius Caesar has the most accumulated power.
Mhm.
You Pompey, like, and when him and those two were competing with each other, one had to take out the other. Otherwise, there just wasn't enough power.
Mm-hmm.
And you can try to strike a balance, but it's just never going to work in Roman society.
Mm.
It feels like LA is that way.
Yeah.
Like everyone's trying to accumulate power,
Mhm.
and the only way to do it is to like destroy people around you.
Wow.
It's a kind of an evil place.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Yeah. I told Rach this. Some of your inmates, some of your in-laws have heard this already. So I think that it's Vegas without all the fun.
Mm.
Vegas knows it's crazy, and LA pretends it's not Vegas, but it's totally Vegas. And it almost makes it worse because LA pretends it's not.
Oh.
It's like, just own it. Own that you guys are a bunch of assholes. Just own it. You're Rome, baby.
Yeah, don't La La Land this shit.
No, you are not La La Land. That's why I don't like that movie as much as you. Because I think it's like a grandiose version of what L.A. is when L.A. kind of sucks.
I mean, it shows some sucky parts of LA, but
A
then
little bit.
And then it throws
It's
in
so
like
romanticized.
some cute things. But
It's
I think,
beautiful.
I think that's how the upper ups who make that movie. That's how they truly feel about LA because they have that version of LA. They don't have the shitty version of LA that we had at spots where we're like driving around looking at houses or getting mugged in the back alley. That didn't happen to us, but you know what I mean. Like that happens to people that we know out there.
Yeah, or you're like walk by a little shack and you're like, I wonder how much that shack that's for sale is, and you're like, oh my god, it's $1 million. Mm-hmm. That's the worst house I've ever seen in my life. It looks like it's a crack house. Like that's I don't know. It sucks out there.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But this movie is for me.
I like this movie.
Let's hear what the critics have to say. I know you're excited. All right, critics said, oh gosh, for about a half hour, Troop Beverly Hills brings a lot of funny situations and funny lines. Then it's time to finish the popcorn and settle down for a nap. St. Louis Post.
Wait.
Oh, you weren't listening?
No, I have my notes on my box wrap, and it started going all of a sudden. But there was a punchline in there, so I heard the beginning and I heard the ending.
Basically, after a half an hour, it's time to finish the popcorn and settle down for a nap.
So you should sleep through it?
I guess so.
What a brutal review.
That was brutal. Here's another one. Didn't Long read...
By the way, I did get that whole review. I thought I missed the thing in the middle of it, but there is a little ...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay.
Didn't Long read this script? Didn't Long's agent read this script? Miami Herald.
They coming for it.
Oof, oof, oof. And the last one. Long is an actress who can't throw away a line, though in this one, where she should have thrown away the whole script. Los Angeles Times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even the LA Times.
They didn't like their own stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the critics' review. Critics' consensus?
Mm-hmm.
Troop Beverly Hills is hamstrung by a one-joke premise, leaving this Shelley Long comedy woefully short on laughs. Haha, long, short.
Yeah, that's good.
You see what they did there? So that's kind of the consensus.
Did anybody say anything nice?
Not that I found.
Okay.
Maybe some like normal people.
Yeah,
a lot of random people are like, I love this movie.
Yeah,
this movie's so great.
Mom babysits lovesflicks.com.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that lady.
Like that blog.
She loved it.
She maybe liked it.
She loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love this. This reminded me of my childhood. I had such a good time watching it. Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yep.
Any guesses?
Well, after all those reviews, I'm gonna say I got a 15%.
14%.
Whoa.
Wow. You've never been that close before. That was crazy.
Awesome.
Crazy. What do you think the audience score is?
60%.
62%.
Whoa.
I can't believe it. I can't hardly believe it. That was
I'm killing
amazing.
It, bro. I'm on fire.
That was really impressive.
It feels like something that people generally would kind of enjoy.
Why wouldn't they? It was fun. Don't take it too seriously.
It is fun.
It was better than I remember this being.
You know what? I'll fight anybody on this hot take.
Okay, ready?
This movie is better than Legally Blonde, which has very similar themes. I'll fight anybody.
Wow. This movie walked so that Legally Blonde could run.
No, this movie was running while Legally Blonde was drowning.
Ooh, sick burn. So I have this at a 54% in between Godfather Part 2 and Indiana Jones 3.
Wait.
Crusade.
What's it lower? Is Godfather?
It's lower than Indiana Jones and it's higher than Godfather Part 2.
Okay, I can live with that.
It's at a 54.
That's fair.
Don't you think?
Godfather 2 is just
That's
okay.
That's kind of where I was
it's
at.
Just okay.
I was like, what would I rather rewatch? Like, I'd rather rewatch this again. This was fun. I liked it. But Indiana Jones.
But what about all
fun.
the Fredo stuff?
Fredo.
I know it's you, Fredo.
So good.
Fredo.
Yeah, I don't need to rewatch that just yet.
I'd watch that scene. I watch all the Fredo scenes. I would literally type in Godfather 2 Fredo scenes compilation.
But it doesn't
love
exist. You
all the
better
Fredo
make it.
stuff. People love the De Niro stuff. Nah, skip it.
Nah.
You want to watch the Fredo stuff.
Fredo.
Fredo is the best in that movie.
All right, I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
I'm boxing again.
Why are you
Gosh
boxing?
dang
Who are
it.
you boxing right now?
Boxing
Get out of
myself. It's my notes.
Gosh.
Okay, we'll have to listen to that. It's a minute 40 of fun.
Oh boy.
So that's you said 54%?
Me, yeah, that's what I had. 54%.
Okay. Here's what I have for a review.
Okay.
This movie is like camping. It's never going to be the best time of your life. It will be hot. You'll sleep on sticks, have bug bites in places you didn't even know existed. But you also had that great hike. You caught a fish. You saw a beaver. And you caught lightning bugs all night long. It was a pretty good time. 55%.
Whoa!
1% above you. That is tied with Save the Last Dance.
Awesome.
My remodified score.
Makes a lot of sense.
And yep, and I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to hate me for this.
Uh-oh.
Top Gun. I'm like, do I want to watch this or Top Gun? I don't know. It kind of depends on my mood. I'll be honest.
What am I in the mood for?
I mean, maybe it's Top Gun. Maybe
love
Top
that.
Gun needs to go up a little bit, but I don't know.
Oh man, I don't remember the last time we were that close. Well, probably on some of like our this is a 100% movie. Like those are easy.
Sure.
When we love it, we love it. But
Yeah.
like when you're in the middle, that's hard to match.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And so this still is a rotten movie,
Yeah.
but it's.
I agree.
I mean, I thought I had a good time.
Yeah, it was
It's
way
a fun,
better than I remember.
It's a fun rotten.
This is like the level that when we think about movies that we'll show our kids.
Yeah.
Like if this is on and they're like vaguely interested in it at a certain age, I'd be like, yeah, throw it on. It's fun.
Yeah, this movie's a good time.
You'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch it.
Yep.
I would totally rewatch this.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
And I expected garbage.
Honestly, I think it helped that I really downplayed it because I didn't remember this film. I thought like, oh, this is going to be terrible. I read the reviews and I thought, oh, what am I getting us into? This is going to be terrible.
I'll be honest, after Rockadoodle, which
Yeah.
I thought was a total fart in church, and it was deader than Kelsey's nuts. And then we all of a sudden we're going into
Hold on. I want to address two things that you just said here.
Yep.
One, I'm just going to work sequentially backwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Kelsey's nuts?
Yeah,
Deader than Kelsey's nuts.
Deader than Kelsey's nuts. That's a phrase.
Is that who's Kelsey? Travis Kelsey?
No.
No, this is an old phrase.
I don't know who the Kelsey is.
This is a thing though? That's not something you made
Deader
up?
than Kelsey's nuts. Origin.
Oh my God.
The phrase "as dead as Kelsey's nuts" originated from the Kelsey outrage, a sensational incident that made national news and divided the town of Huntington, New York. The phrase became popular decades following the incident and still used today. Yes, it is.
I still have a lot of questions.
It's also
what was the
phrase.
incident?
Is a phrase that President Richard Nixon was very fond of using.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
He meant it to be something that was unquestionably and permanently defunct. It's deader than Kelsey's nuts.
I'm gonna start using that. And then I'd like to work back one more.
Yeah,
when you
what's
said,
the other one you had?
You said it was a fart in church.
That's a fart in church.
Is that a phrase?
That's also a phrase.
That's not a phrase.
That is a phrase. I swear to the Lord that's in the of the church. A fart in church.
Origin. Your
Meaning.
dad.
Like a fart in church. Slang, vulgar, simile, in a way that is very poorly received. Go over like a fart in church. It's an idiom. Slang, to be received very poorly.
Oh, God, I've never heard that before. That was great. Thank you for ending us on that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So, fart in church, deader than Kelsey's nuts, rockadoodle. I did not have that great of a time.
Yeah, I really downplayed that one, so this one would
And
be
then
more fun.
I thought this one, I was like, you're going to give me two doozies?
Yeah.
And not even like
a fun doozy.
a fun doozy where I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to bash it and people are going to be mad at me kind of thing. Because you can get intrinsically motivated. You're like, yeah, it's going to be so pissed. Notting Hill's going to make everybody so mad. So you have those moments, but I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought this one was going to be a major whiff. But
yeah.
I had a good time. Have some whiskeys. Throw it on.
Well, let's see. Let's do that recipe again because I've got another one coming for you.
Okay, this is my next one. By the way, can we end? Stick around after the song, after the ending song for a little bonus like we usually do.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you all a story about camp.
Oh, that's right.
Let me tell them the story about camp
All right.
and the
Post
closing.
closing.
It's the closing.
So for next week,
Mhm.
because I'm going to do back-to-backs,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
My final episode for the season is going to be the Iconic film. Showgirls.
You did mix it up on me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Magic Mike, but it's Showgirls.
Surprise.
Whoa, I've never seen it. It sounds like it's going to be a saucy night. Maybe we'll have to pod the next morning.
All right, okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear your camp story. I can't believe I didn't come back to this.
No, it's okay. This feels like it deserves its own moment.
It does.
And so maybe outside of the podcast is the best moment.
Camp story.
Okay. So I went to this Cub Scout camp, right? This is the camp that I alluded to throughout this whole last episode. You'd stay the night for like 3 nights. We did the midnight hike that last night. It was super fun. And I had a lot of great times. I did this camp probably like 4 or 5 straight years. And usually one of our parents stayed with us out of like our core group of friends. But this time I don't think so. I think it was just me and my buddy Mike were in a tent. And then there were 2 random kids. My buddy Jeff was not at this camp. I don't know where he was. But there were 2 other random two duos that were in this campsite with us.
Okay.
So I didn't know them. They were kind of dicks, to be honest. Like even just like talking to them for the first time, they're like kind of seem like, I don't know, they think they rule the roost or whatever. And Mike and I were pretty shy. So I go down to, I think it's like around supper time. We go down to like, have supper. Mike and I leave first. Then we come back up to the camp and we're with our campmates. They're there too. And sitting on like the log in the center of the camp, like almost like a table, is a pair of, I think they were Power Rangers underwear. And they had a bunch of what looked like poop in them. It was, and I looked at it closer and it was dirt. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And the 2 kids, the 2 other tents, they're like, oh, gross. Somebody shit their pants. Oh my gosh, some kid pooped his pants. There's his underwear in the middle of the camp. And I was like, I wear Power Rangers underwear. I think those are my underwear. And I was like, I didn't poop my pants. I was like, I just got here. None of this makes sense. I couldn't piece together what had happened. And so I waited till nobody was looking. I grabbed the underwear. I like threw the dirt out of them and I just shoved them in my bag. Probably like doubled up on underwear for one day, just like double duty, wore them again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't comprehend what had happened.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so weird. I just don't understand how that happened until I swear like years later.
Yeah.
And it finally hit me. Those little douchebags went into Mike and I's tent when we were gone, fished out my underwear, planted this dirt inside to make it look like I shit my pants on the very first day, and then were such little bully dickheads that then they like tried to make fun of us about it, and I didn't own it because I didn't know what had happened. I was so flabbergasted, and that I had been bullied at the camp. I didn't even realize it for years.
Man, that is such a tragic story.
And I'll tell you one thing right now.
Yeah.
Whoever you are out there right now, if you're listening and you're the one who did it, you come to my house right now. I will fight you to this day.
Should I add them to your arch nemesis?
Add them to the nemesis list. I've got a nemesis list that's going on Rach's phone right now. I think it's 5 deep right now, right?
It's not that bad, but yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 deep. Add them to the list.
I will.
They're
add
on
them
it
right now.
Yep.
You just made the list.
You just made the list, you little dickheads.